The last Thursday of the month started badly. Sirens and shouting from outside on Orleans broke up the dark early morning, and I didn't sleep again after the disruption. Though by the time I got to the front window to check what all the noise was about, all police and perpetrators were cleared and gone. I also cut myself shaving, probably on account of it being so early when I showered and got dressed, opting to have my coffee afterwards instead of first. At PJ's, I ran into Phyllis. She was headed to the festival around noon, but didn't have anyone to go with. Problem solved. We agreed to meet at noon. At 11:30, she knocked on the front door. She was early, but it didn't matter. We left a few minutes later, and by noon, we were inside the gates of the fairgrounds. Phyllis had her shoulder bag searched for recording equipment, and the security personnel asked politely that we finish our drinks before entering. Phyllis's idea. We stopped on the way at the small Café Degas bar and picked up 2 Bloody Marys and go-karts, with the pickled green beans in place of celery stalks. We gulped the drinks most of the way down and tossed our cups of the red pulpy ice and black pepper spots into the trash can by the ticket window. Phyllis was in baggy culotte-style jeans, running sneakers with short ankle socks and a black tank top, of the more civilized Ann Taylor kind. Linen with 2-inch wide shoulder straps, loose and unclingy but still accenting her shapes by dropping straight down from her bralessness to form a breezy, flat cavity underneath. The shirt reached her belt, but with a bit of wind and with a twist of her torso, a glimpse of her trim tummy could be attained. Her lengthy dark hair was tied back, and she wore a thin, highly pliable straw hat with a wavy, shape-changing brim. Around the brim, a thin yellow ribbon, and covering the ribbon, a red bandana with chili peppers commemorating a jazz fest of an earlier vintage. The weather report called for a mix of clouds and sun with a chance of isolated T-storms. On our walk over, it had been just that. The sun was out on Orleans Avenue, only to be blocked by a large, fast-moving cumulus cloud on Carrollton, giving way to more clear sun for a half-hour walk down Esplanade, until the next cloud in line shaded the area over. Each cloud that passed us was thick and heavy with moisture, making it obvious that it was only a matter of time before one of these rogue clouds would break ranks and drop us low. Inside the gates, Phyllis and I followed the other goers up between the first 2 large tents, the one on the left a large exhibition and learning tent, the one on the right the so-called jazz tent. Significantly, the only venue featuring jazz at this enormous festival named for jazz. A music festival. Anywhere else but New Orleans and Newport for some reason. They might just call it a music festival. In the Crescent City, though, all things born of jazz will be named for jazz, appropriately or not. The House of Blues the exception that proves the rule. Past the first 2 white tents, the walkway opened into a path, and from there through a fence and across a horse track into the fairgrounds infield. One of the minor thrills of attending the festival, if you're a race fan, are the quiet moments on the wide, curved swath of dirt where the horses would come charging around the final turn. If you pause, you can look down the line clockwise toward where the horses would be coming from, and imagine 2 or 3 lead horses breaking into the final furlong, dirt flying and hooves pounding like hammering runaway trains. The fun daydream is destroyed by the eventual sighting of a golf cart, used by festival personnel while they drive around talking on their radios, enjoying their role as Secret Service. When we reached the infield, it rained for less than half a minute. Big, thick droplets pounded the dusty festival grounds like toy soldier cluster bombs. The sun came out strong behind the passing cloud, but rain just released fell for another minute more. It was the kind of rain that festival goers enjoy, spotty and refreshing and posing no threat to the concerts. Some of the people ahead of us, individuals and couples walking, but then also denser crowds near the House of Blues stage, tilted their heads back and opened up wide for the free refreshment. The going exchange rate for water at the festival was about 4 ounces to the dollar. So a freebie from the sky saves the savvy goer money, as well the hassle of queuing up at the drink tank. At a crossroads of paved pathways, Phyllis stopped us at a bulletin board with the day's lineup taped to the wall in triplicate, as clipped from 3 copies of the Times-Picayune. Phyllis had a special agenda. She wanted to see Los Bebes Merengues at the Congo stage at 2 p.m., and then the so-and-so something jazz ensemble at 4 inside the jazz tent. Fine. I was glad to walk around for a while and excited about the food tents. I would eat a 12-inch oyster po' boy and an order of beignets. Whether you like to dance and jump around or prefer not to, outdoor festivals are days for physical exuberance. Phyllis had a crawfish Monica, but was too busy eating it and looking around to explain what was in it, or how it got its name. Perhaps named for the then up-and-coming Monica Monica, who was making headlines that year. The first openly ophthalmologist woman ever to run for a U.S. House seat for Metairie. After lunch, Phyllis bought me a mango freeze, like a Caribbean version of Italian ice, though served with a plastic spoon instead of a little flat wooden scraper you get up north. Right up there with eating ices, another great activity encouraged by the festival environment is the people watching, or body watching, if you prefer. It is a music festival, a jazz festival, a food festival, and a skin festival. Not the in-your-face style tit showing by girls on Bourbon Street during Mardi Gras, but instead the haphazard exposures of muscle and tan skin, all curvatures of leg, breast, and buttock, induced by the collaborating forces of heat, music, and drugs, all working quite well in concert, so to speak. The odd, unfixed wedgie of a better-than Ezra fan, the careless, airy opening of a woman's tank top, or saturation of a bikini top while reaching for a beer in the grass, or bending down to kiss an exhausted, lazy boyfriend. Enjoying the pleasant view is made difficult at times by the certain knowledge that these same tired, lazy guys, later on in the day, would be peeling those scant, soiled garments from their girlfriends' salty, sun-tinged bodies. Phyllis, too, was an object of visual appeal that day, but always too close. Right alongside, in fact. Too close to be leered at more acutely, as one can from a comfortable distance.